Well, you mentioned the part of the pandemic funding, the additional pandemic funding.
Yeah.
That has come to an end. The gravy train has hit the station and ain't going no further. We felt that in so many different elements of our local budgeting. But now it's hitting King County, they're saying it's going to be, and like they always did, down Constantine like a week ago,
$85 million.
Said, and it's all coming out of public safety, folks.
Well, it's
going to hurt.
Well, they say that because the other side of that coin is they're trying to get you to approve of new things. They're using safety as kind of a cudgel to scare you into it.
Absolutely.
They say that the state law currently makes it they limit property taxes because they say that basically here's what the King County budget director says. This is what he blames. The general fund has a projected 2026-27 deficit of $150 million because of the state's failure to provide adequate revenue authority for counties. That's a tricky word for collect more of your money. While we are hoping for action this legislative session and or a potential ballot measure, we cannot be sure of either. Thus, we need to start identifying budget reductions now. Budget reductions is a good thing. I think that's where any sensible person starts.
Yep.
When you or I run out of money at the end of the month,
yeah, quit spending.
We look back and we go like, hey, how many streaming services am I doubling up on? That's what I need to cut back on. So government needs to do that for sure. They say the state law currently limits their ability to raise taxes on property taxes to 1% a year. There's a proposal and a new bill that would increase that threefold to 3% a year. Which would raise an additional, 78 cents per $1,000 of assessed value of your house. Was that the number that I read?
Yes.
Is that possible?
That's correct. 78 per thousand, yep.
So, yeah, they're having to do the hard thing that all adults have to do, which is
triple your property tax?
No, not triple property tax.
That's they're proposing an increase from 1% to 3%.
No, I know. That's what they're proposing.
Yeah.
That's the lazy way out, which is to take more of your money.
Yeah, I agree.
The thing that they should start doing is get their financial house in order, which is what they absolutely need to do. I actually have audio. You want to hear this? I have audio of Democratic state lawmakers as they have been told by Dow Constantine they need to make budget cuts. Don't ask me how I got this. I have a rat. Or I have a mole. I have a lot of moles I've talked about before.
It's a mole. It's
both
not
physically
a rat.
and in.
There's a big difference.
Not a rat.
No, it's a big difference, man. Especially when they keep taking your calls. Don't call him a rat.
No, not a rat. This is a mole who works inside the Democratic lawmakers building, whatever that is.
The Capitol?
The Capitol, yeah, that's where they all are.
Yeah.
And
it's a rat trap, we call it.
Sent me this audio. Yeah, it's just a big rat trap. He sent me this audio. He said, hey, here's lawmakers as they're pouring over budgets line by line. Says they've never done it before. And here's lawmakers responding as Dow Constantine has just told them they need to cut the budget. Not horrible? Poor Democrats.
Oh, you. You sure can paint a picture, my friend.
Ridiculous. Raise your property tax threefold because they can't get their house in order. Doesn't that seem unfair, Spike, even to you?
It does. I don't want my property taxes tripled.
Of course not.
But let me ask you this: is there a little
Ask away.
Is there going to be a little bit of give and a little bit of take? Is there going to be a little bit of we'll reduce our spending, we'll trim our budgets? But do they
give
need
us a little bit more?
Do they need
taste.
Do they need the ability to increase the amount of money they can generate? Property taxes.
Let me give you your answer in 2 words.
Sure.
Hell no.
Okay. Fair.
Absolutely not. They already have enough money. They have enough money if they spend it wisely. They had enough money a couple years ago. What happened to that? Why couldn't they figure that out? And they had enough money 10 years before that. How come they couldn't do that?
Prices went up. Cost of doing business went up. You want to hire the best police departments?
Everybody's dealing with the prices going up. Why can't they figure it out?
Because they're trying to figure it out. That's the local government.
Have prices gone up for you?
Of course they have.
Are you and your wife still in your house? Did you have to sell your house?
No, we kept our home.
How did you figure it out? But state government can't figure it out.
We trimmed some budget.
Okay.
And we earned some more.
Okay.
We did a little bit of both.
So they need to figure out how to trim some budget. The problem with they want to take more of our money. And that's just not okay. They already take a ton of our money. I don't think that is ever the answer. Don't take more of our money.
I respect that point of view.
As property gets more valuable, they will bring in more money, and it's constantly getting more valuable. That's the other question. You have property in King County that is at record level highs and has been for the last 5-6 years. They've been climbing at unprecedented levels, some of the highest in the nation.
Sure,
so they have more money coming in because of
absolutely.
property taxes.
Yeah.
How isn't that benefiting King County? And why aren't they figuring it out? Or are they is their budget growing as property taxes increase?
Their budgets are growing at a rate faster than property taxes can compensate that.
Well, that's a problem.
The cost of it's not just all waste. It's not just all unnecessary spending. It's also the cost of running the city.
We're seeing a lot of stuff in Doge, and if what's happening federally is also happening with local governments, I would think that there's probably a lot of areas of waste that they're not really willing to look into right now that I think would be smart for them to do before. I'm not against giving my taxes. I pay my taxes like everybody else.
You know, it could cost money to live in a
Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. I live by that. That's totally fine. But don't come to us first and say, hey, the problem we got is that we're out of money. We need more of your money before we... Like, I want to see that you're being smart with your money before I'm making an investment, a further investment in you.
That's a reasonable expectation.
Isn't that reasonable?
Absolutely.
Or am I crazy? I just feel like that's a very reasonable stance.
I think it's reasonable.